Hi everyone, this is Lori here with Lori Hooks. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So I thought today I would just do a little crochet and chat. While we are chatting today, I am going to work on I believe this pattern is called Lovely Little Blanket, and it is a baby blanket pattern, but I'm just doing extra multiples to get it to be a full-size pattern. It's a it's a free pattern on Hirschner's website. I will link it in the description box below. And the yarn that I'm using is this Hirschner's Worsted Stripes. And this is the color Flourish, and I'm using a 6.5 millimeter hook. So I thought that I would just get on here and talk about crochet, what I've been up to lately, stuff like that. Today is actually June 21st, it's Wednesday, but I don't think you guys are going to see this video until tomorrow. And today I had the final video reveal for my summer Hooked on Reese collaboration wreath that I did with Rebecca over at Yarn and Pajamas. So if you haven't checked out that video, please do so. And if you aren't following Rebecca, please give a check out with her as well. I will link her in the description box below. So I don't think I will put this video out until tomorrow, just because I already did put out something today. So the wreath is really all that I've been working on recently. I got this blanket out last night because I actually had my wreath finished yesterday and recorded my video for my wreath yesterday. So I got this blanket out last night and started working on it last night, which is the first time that I've worked on it in a while. And I apologize, once in a while I have to count because this has groups of 7 triple crochets. And so every now and then I got to count the group and make sure that I have 7 in my little stack. So as I said, yeah, I haven't worked on this for a few weeks. I've been working on that wreath, and I think it's the time of year and the heat and stuff like that. I just, finding that crochet is kind of feeling like it's a back burner thing. In the summertime we are busier, we have more stuff going on, more running around. And the other thing is, and I'll get more to this later on because I'm trying to talk about the crochet stuff first and the other stuff afterwards. We also have some family stuff going on here at home that is causing things just to be more busy than normal. So I've had less crochet time than what I'd like to have. But it is what it is. It's life. It's the way it goes, it's just the way that it goes. The other thing is, in the summertime, I think we just like to crochet less. And I know, like right now, just sitting here with this acrylic blanket on my lap, it's a little bit warm. I'm wanting to work on other things. So an example of other things that I'm wanting to work on is I recently got some Bernat Softy baby yarn, and I want to make a tank top with that. So did I print out the patterns and leave them here? Oh, here's the pattern. So I found this pattern on Yarnspirations. It is called Bernat Let's Summer Crochet Top. It's kind of got an odd name. This is what the pictures look like. And this calls for Bernat Softy Cotton. I don't think it specifically says, no, it doesn't say baby, it just says Softy Cotton, which I think is the same specs as Softy Baby is. So hopefully it's not a problem. I don't think it'll be. I hope it'll be all right. So this is the Softy Baby color that I got. This is the label for it. And excuse me, this yarn is 60% cotton, 40% acrylic. It's a 120 gram ball, 254 yards. It's a 3 light, and they recommend a 4 millimeter crochet hook, which that's the same spec as the regular Softy Cotton is. It's a 220 gram ball 254 yards. That's the same. So when I got 4 of these in this color, and I did not say the color name, this is Aqua Mist, and I think it's a pretty summery color. So I was working on a swatch last night for, sorry, a gauge swatch last night for this tank top. I do find with wearables that I need to do a gauge swatch, and if I don't, it is a mistake that I pay for. So I always do one with a wearable now. Maybe I wouldn't if it was like a bulky sweater or something that I wouldn't really care if it was a little off in size, but I've made enough mistakes when it comes to wearables that now I just do the gauge swatch. And in this case, it was probably a good idea because the first swatch I did, I used the 4mm hook, which is what it called for, and my swatch is coming out a little too big. So I'm going to do another swatch later on today with 3.5mm, and the only reason why I'm not doing the swatch right now and I'm working on this blanket instead is because I don't think I can do the swatch and talk to you guys at the same time. I think there's too much counting. So that is one thing I have going on in the near future. The other thing I want to do is I want to work on some knit dishcloths. I really like the way a dishcloth comes out knit, and when we went camping a few weeks ago back in May, we had this really lovely older woman in the site next to us, and when I say older woman, she's older than me. I wouldn't really necessarily call her that elderly. She told me that she was 71, but she was there camping, and she had what I call a teardrop trailer. And I don't know if you're not a camper, this won't mean anything to you, but it's like a camper that's shaped like a teardrop, and they're just tall enough inside to crawl in and to lay down and go to sleep. They have enough room in there that gets you up off the ground, and they have a heater in there and all that kind of stuff, and it gets you up off the ground to go to sleep, but you can't stand up in there. It's only like, I don't know, maybe 3 feet high inside. I've never been inside one. I've looked in the door and looked around and stuff, but I've never been inside one. But it was just her there by herself, and she had this little teardrop trailer, and they have like a trunk kind of thing, and in the trunk is where the kitchen area is, and it's got like a sink and a spot for your, I think it even had a microwave. It has a little stove, and I don't know if it had a fridge or if she was just using a cooler. I don't remember which one. Anyway, she had a cool little setup going. She had like a porta potty tent with her porta potty in there, and she had like a little shelter to, because we had some chilly weather and it did rain some while we were there, so I'm sure she's glad she had that little shelter. And we arrived just in time for when she was putting that shelter up, so we were able to help her get that shelter up and help her get it back down before she went home. But she was a really sweet lady, and she was there knitting dishcloths. And her and I started talking about knit things, which was really, really nice. Like, I don't have crochet and knit friends in person, so sorry about that. I'm gonna have to edit that little section out. I got a phone call, and I thought the recording had paused, and it hadn't. Anyway, so it was really nice to get to talk to this lady. She knits, she crochets, and as I said, she was 71, and she works in a thrift store a couple days a week. And the thrift store, their proceeds go to like animal rescue type places. And she said that there's also other places involved, like other stores and stuff like that involved. And she was knitting these dishcloths for the thrift store that she works at. And so I didn't mention it to her at the time, but I was thinking to myself, you know, I could probably knit some dishcloths and drop them by the store that she works at, and they could use them for donations. So I think that I'm going to do that. I'm going to knit up some dishcloths soon and bring them by for her for the thrift store, and hopefully they can sell them and use the proceeds towards the I think it's mostly dogs. You know, for her, she said her daughter is, she's a trainer, a dog trainer, and she helps people both train their dogs as well as she fosters dogs and all that kind of stuff. So, and you know, we had our dog with us there camping, and this little lady really enjoyed spending time with our dog too. She didn't have any pets on of her own, but she lives with her daughter, and her daughter has, I think she said 2 dogs. So, you know, she's a pet lover too. So that's another thing that I want to work on in the near future. And so what else did I want to talk about? So on the weekend, my daughter and I drove out to Spin Right, which I don't know why. I thought that it was an hour from my house. So I thought, oh, you know, that'll be a little ride. We get in the car and I set up the map to go and realize that no, well, we stopped somewhere first. And so the place that we had to go to first, I thought it was more on the way. But then when we set up the map, it says, oh, it's going to take an hour and a half to get there, and there wasn't any traffic. But it was a nice drive because it's like backcountry farmland type drive. So the kind of drive that I like. So we went anyways. So it was an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. So it was a 3-hour overall trek to go to Spin Right and walk around the store for 45 minutes or something like that. I'm not going to show you guys what I bought, but one thing I did buy while I was there is they sell cotton yarn on cones, and I'm not really sure if it's Bernat Handicrafter, because I know the colors that I bought, I'm quite sure I've seen that color in Bernat Handicrafter. And I'm not really sure if it was that or if it was Lily Sugar and Cream. It could have been either one. But they were selling that on cones. And so I bought 2 cones of the 100% cotton to use for those dishcloths. Maybe I'll make some extra dishcloths for myself or for family as well. But the cones they didn't have labels or anything on them, and they were sold for, I think they sell it there for 49 cents an ounce, and each the cones were, it worked out that each cone cost me about $7 for the cones. So I thought that was a pretty good price for, you know, a cone of 100% cotton for dishcloths and that kind of stuff. So I got that while I was there, and I got this Bernat Softy Cotton Baby while I was there. And I got a few other things as well. But it was a nice drive. It was a nice day, the day that we went, and I enjoyed just driving out there and spending some time with my daughter. So we did that on Saturday. And what else yarny related can I talk about? I did place an order at Premier, and I used, at least I hope that I did finish my order that way, because I tend to put in, when I go on a website and I get prices and stuff, I tend to jump between sites and make sure the prices are good. But I wanted to order some Premier yarns, and I was on Premier's website, and I hope that I used Kayla over at Llama Mama Kayla's affiliate link. I hope that I used it. That was my intention. But I purchased some Premier yarn, and I had it shipped to my Shipsy address in Niagara Falls, which I've talked about Shipsy before. It's a company that brings, you know, us Canadians they give you an address in the States, and that way you can order your product to an address in the States and pay shipping to there, and then they bring it across the border to come here to where I am. And I went and got that today, and my order was a small order. I just bought, I think my order was about $23 US was the price of the yarn. The shipping obviously was extra, but I think if I had had it shipped all the way to my house, I think the shipping charge they wanted was like $30. And to have it shipped to my address in Niagara Falls was think it was $9, and then Shipsy charged me $7 Canadian to bring it here. Because it was such a small order, it was like $23, $24. I didn't have to pay tax or duty on it, which was nice. So I went and got that earlier today, and again, I'm not going to show you guys what I bought. It was just some cotton Premier yarn that I saw and I wanted. So, and I haven't decided for sure what I'm going to use for that yet either. I've just been on a summer kick where I want to buy summer colors and I want to buy summer cotton yarn and stuff like that. So that's what I got. So I think that is it for my yarny type talk. So the other thing that I have going recently is, well, it's not recently, it's kind of coming up. My daughter is leaving on Friday for the summer, so, we've been getting the things that she needs to go and just spending some quality time with her before she leaves, because I'm going to miss her. She's going to be gone for 2 months, and she's my hangout girl. I spend more time with her than anybody else. So, been getting some quality time in recently and making sure she has what she needs and all that kind of stuff. And so today and tomorrow she's going to be packing up her stuff, and then Friday I'm going to have to take her there and drop her off. Now I will most likely see her several times over the summer. She gets days off here and there, and I'll drive up and visit her for the day. And this year, knock on wood, there's no problems that cause issues like we've had the last 2 years. This is her 3rd year there. So the last 2 years they've had, restrictions and all those kind of things due to COVID. And this year it sounds like they don't have COVID rules, which is nice. So hopefully they don't have any reason to put in any restrictions or anything like that over the summer, and that's not an issue. Our fingers are crossed for that. So I don't think that, I think it would have to have like a huge problem in order to do restrictions there, from the sounds of it. They don't have anything in place for it. She said they didn't talk about it at all. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear that we're coming out of it. I say we're coming out of it because I see that people's behaviors have changed, and I think it's a permanent change. I think a lot of people are just going to stick with a lot of the things that they do now. And some of the things, some of the changes that we've done over the last few years, I don't have an issue with, like social distancing. I love it. I really don't like it when you're standing in line somewhere and you can smell the person's breath behind you in line. I don't like that. So social distancing, I don't have an issue with. You can keep up social distancing all the time. That would be great with me. But some of the other things, kind of more of a problem. And I don't like it when there's restrictions and you can't do stuff. But I'm hoping that she has a good summer and it's more of a normal summer for them and all that. So I have that going on this week. And that's on my mind all the time recently. So yeah, and I have a knot in my yarn. Don't you love it when you have a knot in your yarn? So I need to check and see if that's the normal color change pattern. And I think I'm going to cut this one out. So I guess we will stop crocheting here so that I can deal with Mr. Knot. Do you guys cut your knots out and make longer ends and weave them in? That's what I do. I cut the knot and then I tie a new knot, which leaves some ends. I'll show you what I mean. Where's my scissors? I'm going to cut my knot off. Here's the knot. I believe this is the normal color change. Yeah. So it goes, so it was on this lighter green and it comes back. Yeah, that's its normal color change. going to put a new knot in, and I will sew in the ends later. So anyways, that is my main things for my personal life going on right now. Of course, I work. I have work commitments that have been pretty busy lately too. So there's that going on as well. Nobody wants to hear about work. I don't want to hear about work either. In terms of work things, my husband has a new job that he started a few weeks ago that's really close to home and really convenient, so that's good. And he's adapting, and he's starting to get to know everybody and get, you know, into his new environment, which makes the new job, you know, more, you're able to enjoy it more, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. Not that work's ever joyful, but makes it a little bit better. So that is that. So I think that's all I really have to talk about today. So things are all good here. It's just, you know, the summer's here and things are busier and more stuff going on, and which is good. It's good to have things going on and not be sitting in the house all the time and all that kind of stuff, and able to enjoy the outdoors, which I'll try to do my next video outside if I can. The kids are still in school, so until they finish school, or unless I record on a weekend, I can't really record outside here because the kids at the school behind my house, they make way too much noise. So I typically even have to close the window or close the door, else you'll be able to hear them screaming in my videos, because they play outside really good loudly, as kids do and as they should. So that's all good. So anyways, I'm starting to ramble here, starting to get carried on about nothing. So I hope that you guys are all well. If you'd like to tell me about what you're working on, I'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions about anything that I'm working on or anything like that, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I will link the pattern for the blanket that I'm working on, as well as this pattern for the tank top that I showed you. I'll link that as well in the description box below. And I think that's it for today. So thanks for liking my videos, thanks for subscribing to my channel, and thank you for spending time with me today. And I'll see you next time on Lori Hooks. Bye everyone.